Okay, so we're on Beis Amud Beis. If we count up from the bottom of the Gemara, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines up. 8 lines up. Amar Rabbi Chanina Misura. Rabbi Chanina from Surah said, Lo lema inish liisisu bizman hazeh, that a man should not say to his wife in our times when there is no Beis Hamikdash, Bisman hazeh lo tisteri bihadi ploni. Don't be secluded with Ploni. Right? Don't be secluded with whomever, with Mr. Ploni. Man should not say that to his wife. Why? Because we said Dilma Kaimalan ki Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. Perhaps we hold like Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. What did Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda say? Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda's opinion was one person, one aid for kinui is sufficient, even if it's the husband, right? Even if it's the husband. So now, if you say to your wife, "Don't be together with Chaim," and we hold like Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chanina, right? So what's going to happen? Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. So there was a valid kinui, and now if she is seen secluded by 2 witnesses with this man, there's no way to resolve the doubt. We have no way of knowing what to do. So don't say that to your wife, because perhaps the halacha is like Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, da amar kinui al pi atzmo, right? Umistatra, that if a person gives kinui, then even by himself it's valid, and then she is together with this man in stira, in seclusion. V'leka ha'idna meisota lemibdaka. There's no meisota, there's no waters, there's no procedure today. We don't even know what the procedure is. We haven't learned it yet. But the Gemara is simply telling us there's no procedure today for this. Anyway. And the result will be the ka'asar la iluya isuri de la'olam. She'll be forever forbidden to him. Right? Why forever forbidden to him? Not because we know for sure she had relations with that person. If we knew for sure that she had relations with that person, we could resolve the situation. We would know she had relations with the person. Okay, they'd have to get divorced. But now what are we saying? Now we're saying it's a suffix. We don't know. And we're never going to know. Right? Because it's done. It's finished. We have no witnesses, even if she herself admits it. Right? We have no way to prove it. All right? We have no way to prove it. So you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't warn your wife not to be secluded with someone, because perhaps the halach is like Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, Amar Reish Lakish. Reish Lakish says, Ma lashon kinui. What is this language of kinui, right? We've been talking about kinui, and how have we been translating kinui? Warning, right? We've been translating kinui as warning. So, Ma lashon kinui. So what is another understanding of kinui? What's another understanding of kinui? We've been translating it as warning, but when we talk about God as a kel kana, as a jealous God, right? A jealous God, or even an angry God. So says the Gemara, Amar Reish Lakish, ma lashon kinui, davar hamatio kina beina levein acherim. What is it? Why is this warning called kinui? Because this warning is something that will cause there to be kina, jealousy or anger or being upset between her and other people. Why is it going to cause jealousy, anger between her and other people? Because, let's say I say to my wife, I don't want you to be together with Chaim. So what is my wife going to do? So my wife is going to avoid being together. She doesn't want to be anywhere near Chaim. She doesn't want to be anywhere near Chaim. Yes, of course she's not going to be together with Chaim, right? We're assuming here, of course, that there was no adulterous relationship. She's not going to be anywhere near Chaim. I mean, she's not going to seclude herself with Chaim. She's not going to be anywhere near Chaim. Right. And if Chaim is together in their circle of friends, what does that mean? She is going to absent herself from her friends. Everybody's going to get together, and where is she? She's not going to be there. What are people going to start to say? People are going to start to say, "Oh, why is she angry with me? How come she's not? How come I invited her to the party? How come she didn't come?" Now, people are not going to know that she was warned not to be together with Chaim. How are people not going to know that? It must be, says the Gemara, Alma kasavar, it must be because Reish Lakish holds kinui al pi atzmo. Right, that kinui works with one witness, like Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. V'kulei alma lo yade de kanila, and nobody else will know that he warned her. So what's going to happen? So we're going to talk about Chana Leah. All right, Chana Leah was warned by her husband not to be secluded with Moshe. And Moshe is one of their friends, right? Moshe hangs out all the time with everybody. So now what's Chana Leah going to do? Chana Leah is going to avoid Moshe like the plague. She doesn't even want to be in the same room as Moshe. Even if there's 100 other people, she doesn't want to be in the same room as Moshe because she doesn't want to take any chances. She's going to lose her ketubah if she is. She wants to avoid Moshe like the plague. But all the other people don't know that she was warned not to be there. So since they don't know that she was warned not to be there, what are they going to think? They're going to think she's antisocial. And when they think she's antisocial, they're going to get upset at her. They're going to become angry at her. This warning is going to place kina, envy, or jealousy, or anger, beina, between the woman and other people. Because they're not going to know that she was warned. So it must be that this opinion that says the language of kinui is because it causes anger or resentment between her and other people, must subscribe to the position that the husband can give her kinui by himself, and that's a valid kinui, nobody else will know. Okay. Va'amre, and they, v'kule alma lo yade de kanela, right? And nobody else will know that he warned her. Va'amre, and they'll say, my dekama dekabadla, right? What's going on? That she separated herself from us. Va'asu lima'aved kina bahada, and what's going to happen?
They'll get angry.
They're going to get angry at her. They're not going to be happy about it, right? So why is this called kinui? It's called kinui because it creates animosity between her and other people, because she'll avoid other people and they won't know why she's avoiding them, and therefore there will be this animosity. That's one opinion of why it's kina. That's not the first opinion that I would have thought of. I would have thought of the second opinion as the first opinion, but maybe that's just me. What is the second opinion? 3 lines up from the bottom of the Gemara. V'Rav Yemar bar Rav Shalmei mishmei da Abaye Amar davar hamatil kina beino leveina. Right? Why is this called kinui? Because where is it going to create the animosity? Not between her and other people, as in the first opinion, but it's going to create the animosity between her and her husband, right? Beino leveina. Because what's going to happen? In other words, it's not going to create animosity between her and other people, because other people are going to know that she was warned, right? Because according to this opinion, warning requires two individuals, 2 witnesses. It can't just be the husband. So other people will know that she was warned. And if other people will know she was warned, so at the party on Motzei Shabbos where they say, where's Chana Leah? They're going to say, oh, Chana Leah is not here. Why not? She's not here because Moshe is here. Right? And we know that her husband warned her, not to be anywhere near Moshe. We know she's going to avoid Moshe like the plague. That's why she's not here. We're not, there's no animosity. She's not avoiding us. We're not angry at her. She's here. She can't be here because but where is the animosity going to be? The animosity is going to be between her husband and her. Why? Because her husband suspects her of not being faithful to him. And she is now angry at her husband because
he thinks that of
her.
Either he thinks that of her, or she can't
Either
out.
He thinks that of her, or now she can't hang out with everybody. Right? So it's creating animosity between him and between her. Alma, this must be kasavar kinui al pi shnayim edim. Must be, according to this opinion, kinui has to be by 2 witnesses. V'kule alma yade dekanala, and everybody knows that she was warned, because once there's 2 witnesses that she was warned, word will quickly spread. Everybody knows she was warned. V'ihu hu da'asi lima'abed kina bahada, right? And what's going to happen? That this was going to create animosity between her and between him.
Why would the word spread if just the husband?
Because he didn't tell her.
Because who's going to spread the word?
Well, he can't?
No, but
Okay, let people know.
he doesn't necessarily.
Watch Leia because I don't
No,
want
he doesn't
wonder.
necessarily want people to know. Right? He doesn't necessarily want, because remember what happens.
But if he's with Herschel and he's going to tell Herschel, I don't want anyone to know. Can you keep this quiet? I mean,
And what's Herschel going to do?
Tell everybody.
hopefully, if he's a cool guy.
Oh, you know Herschel, right? Herschel's going to tell everybody,
Kids Club.
right? Herschel, going, this is news, right? This is news. Chanalei and Moshe, it's news. So Herschel's going to tell everybody, right?
If it's his brother or something.
No, basically the idea is in the case where we define kinui as placing animosity between her and other people don't know
Right.
about the kinui. When we would describe kinui as creating animosity between him and her, it's because we subscribe to the position that other people do know. The only way other people can know or don't know is we assume because it was either one witness, meaning him, or, I mean, you're right,
Two
technically.
witnesses at least that was some other
Right,
person.
technically, he could spread the word. He could say, by the way, Chanalei is not coming tonight because I warned her not to be together with Moshe, but that's not going to happen. Because a husband generally doesn't want to,
Advertise it.
doesn't want to advertise. Doesn't want to advertise that he suspects his wife of, of being less than loyal to him, right? Okay, so let's go. So the Gemara is now going to continue. We're at the top of Gimel Amid Aleph. Alma, therefore, kisavre, we must be of the opinion, the asur lekanos, right? That these individuals hold that it is prohibited to give your wife warning. You're not supposed to give your wife warning, right? Asur lekanos. If it happens that you go ahead and give your wife warning, okay. But what is the preferable way to approach this? Not to give your wife warning. What does it mean not to give your wife warning? The preferable way to approach this is not to give your wife warning? Like, why wouldn't you give her warning? Why wouldn't you give her warning?
Are there like certain words you have to use? Or?
Well, no, don't be together with Moshe. I mean,
Okay.
So look at the sheet that I gave out, and maybe we can understand this. In other words, this is a crazy position. According to the position, this position, that a man should not give his wife warning, a man should not warn his wife. I'll try to speak English, right? A man should not warn his wife. Why? The reason he shouldn't warn his wife is because either it is going to create animosity between him and her, or because it's going to create animosity between her and other people. So therefore, don't warn her. What does that mean? My wife is acting suspiciously, right? She's texting when I'm not around or whatever, right? So she's acting suspiciously around Moshe. I'm not supposed to say anything? Not supposed to say anything?
No, we're talking post-base Mikdash.
We're talking post-Beis Hamikdash.
Okay.
Why, right? No, here we're talking not post-Beis Hamikdash. Here we're talking when the Beis
During the
Hamikdash was...
Beis Hamikdash, really?
Here-
So there is, you never give your wife warning? I mean, according to the...
Oh, so this is the question. What do you mean I should never give my wife warning?
What's the whole bit about
Right?
Same
Sotah?
thing
Right.
twice, but it's basically the same thing twice because there's ramifications.
Let's go a little bit deeper. The
Well,
Gemara
that's
that you
the
have in
basic
front of you,
the serious one.
the
So
sheet that you
before-
have in front of you is a Mishnah in Maseches Gittin. I mentioned this Mishnah to you once before, and I meant to bring the sheets last week. Beis Shammai Omrim, what does Beis Shammai say? Beis Shammai Omrim, Lo Yigaresh Adam es Ishto, Ela im Kain Matzah Ba Erva. Right, a man should not divorce his wife unless he finds within her an erva. What is an erva? An erva means an act of adultery. That the only grounds for divorce, according to Beis Shammai, is adultery. If your wife commits adultery, you can divorce her. If your wife commits adultery, you have to divorce her. But short of that, you should not be divorcing your wife. Ubeis Hillel Omrim, Ubeis Hillel says, Afilu hikidicha tavshilo. Even if she burns his food. Right? If she burns his food, says Beis Hillel, that's sufficient reason to divorce her. Okay.
So we pass him like Beis Hillel.
What'd you say?
We pass him like Beis Hillel, right?
So where do they get this? Where did they get this opinion? Right? Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Kimatza ba ervas davar. The verse which talks about divorcing your wife says Kimatza ba, he found within her ervas davar. Now, what does ervas davar mean? According to Beis Shammai, ervas davar means erva, means sexual immorality, means she committed adultery. That's why Beis Shammai says, if you found that she committed adultery, or you think she committed adultery, those are grounds for divorce. What does Beis Hillel say?
It says that you have to then.
Yeah, you have to, well, no. You have to divorce her if you know that she committed adultery. But if you suspect her, in other words, Beis Shammai is saying, even if you suspect her of committing adultery, you can divorce her for that reason. Okay, what is Beis Hillel saying? Beis Hillel says, ervas davar doesn't mean, and erva doesn't mean sexual immorality, it means something which is not good. What is something which is not good? She burned the food. Or something, anything, right? Anything which is not good, according to Beis Hillel, you can divorce her. And they're debating, they differ as to what this meaning of ervas davar is. A third opinion comes along Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva says, afilu matzah acheres na'a hemena. Even if you find a trophy wife, right? Rabbi Akiva says, even if you find a wife you find a woman who you're more attracted to. In other words, your wife didn't commit adultery, and your wife didn't even burn your food. But you find another woman that you're attracted to more than your wife, so Rabbi Akiva says you can divorce your wife. Right? Why? What?
How many wives did Rabbi Akiva have?
Well, remember Rabbi Akiva only had one, and he said everything is hers. You know, right? Shali v'shala, right? Everything that you guys have, everything that I have is because of her. Okay. So why does Rabbi Akiva say this? Because the pasuk says, "V'haya im lo sim tzachein be'einav." If she doesn't find favor in your eyes, meaning that your wife is supposed to find favor in your eyes. If your wife doesn't find favor in your eyes, because somebody else you see finds favor in your eyes, so then according to Rabbi Akiva, you're allowed to divorce your wife. Remember, this is just the Mishnah, right? Do not go around saying, this is the topic of our shir, right? This is just the right. This is just it's just the Mishnah. Now, how is this Mishnah helpful to us? So let's go back to the Gemara that we're learning on Gimel Am and Aleph. According to the opinion that says in the Gemara, the asur likanos, that it is forbidden for you to warn your wife, that you should not be warning your wife. Asur likanos, what should you be doing instead?
Divorcing.
You should be divorcing her. Right? This is the position. You should be divorcing her. If you're going to divorce her, whose opinion are we following here? We're following Beis Hillel or Rabbi Akiva. But let's say we're following Beis Hillel. In other words, according to Beis Hillel, you're allowed to divorce your wife for an infraction less than adultery. An infraction less than adultery. So don't warn her. What should you do? Divorce her. That is the preferable method, the Gemara seems to say. That is the preferable method, because what's going to happen? You're going to warn her, and everybody's going to talk about it, and if she doesn't admit it, she's going to go to the Beis Hamikdash, and it's going to become a whole spectacle, and people are going to doubt the validity of your children as your children. I mean, it's a whole, it opens up a whole can of worms. So according to this opinion in the Gemara, since we follow, according to this opinion in the Gemara, which obviously is consistent with Beis Hillel, since you can divorce your wife
for any reason,
for any reason, since you can divorce your wife, I just thought you lost a hand, Joe. Right? Since you can divorce your wife for any reason short of, you just don't like her anymore. So, right? So says the Gemara, don't warn her. Don't warn her. What should you do? Just divorce her.
That means you gotta pay. It means you gotta pay.
Right.
Means you got to pay. Correct. Right. Correct.
Because if you do go the other route of the warning, etc., then
you might get out of pay.
You might get out of pay.
I mean,
True.
So Hillel may have had more.
But what's going to happen? We know that he didn't. Right, but we know that Beis Shammai was wealthier. But what's going to happen? What's going to happen is you're going to bring a lot of disrepute.
Couldn't get divorced.
Right. Okay.
but this Mishnah is talking about a suffix, where the guy isn't sure whether she did adultery.
Correct.
In this Mishnah, with Beis Hillel, he absolutely can't stand his wife. It's not exactly the same ballpark.
What do you mean he can't stand her?
But he was sure she burned the toast. She was sure. The husband was sure he found someone more attractive. In this case, it's different. This case is really a suffix. I'm not sure if my wife misbehaved or not.
Well, that's why, according to Beis Shammai, you have to warn your wife, because according to
Right.
Beis Shammai, you don't have an option.
Yeah.
In other words, according to Beis Shammai, you can't just divorce your wife. According to Beis Hillel, you can divorce your wife. You found something that you don't like about her. She burned the toast. She's hanging around with Moshe, whatever it is. You can divorce her. But according to Beis Shammai, you can't divorce her. According to Beis Shammai, you can only divorce her if there's real grounds for a claim of
That's not
adultery.
proof, it's just a claim.
Claim, right? Correct. Right. It's not a
If you
proof.
suspect her, that's not enough.
If he suspects her of
Before he warns her,
if there is
suspects her of adultery,
no,
why can't he
in
just
other words,
say, okay.
if there are witnesses that she was secluded,
Right.
right? If there are
No
witnesses where
warning.
he doesn't have to take her to the Beis Hamikdash,
He can just
he can
divorce
divorce her, but he'll have to pay her.
Right.
He'll have to pay her ksuba.
Right.
Okay. In other words, if he chooses to divorce her, he has to pay her
Right.
her ksuba. Okay. So that's what. So this is the opinion that says the asur lekanos. So man da amar mutter lekanos. According to the opinion, this opinion which says you're not supposed to give your wife warning, is defining the word kinui as anger, jealousy, animosity, right? Because you are creating animosity in doing this. So therefore, you shouldn't be doing it. According to the other opinion, the opinion umanda amar mutar lekanos, the opinion that says it is permissible to warn your wife. Mahu lashon kinui. What does the word kinui mean? Right? If we understand kinui is anger, so then we're gonna say that you shouldn't do this, right? Because you're not supposed to create this animosity. So according to the opinion that says that you can warn your wife, how does this opinion understand the implications of the word kinui? So Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says, Ein kinui ela lashon hasra. What does the word kinui mean? The word kinui means hasra. What is hasra? It's another word for warning, right? Kinui means hasra. Where does Rav Nachman get this from? Where does Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak get this from? V'chein hu omer, he gets it from the following pasuk. The pasuk says, "Vayikane Hashem li artso." Right? You can read the note. The note is talking about a plague of locusts, and if Bnei Israel don't do tshuva, the locusts are going to consume all the vegetation. Right. And if Bnei Israel do tshuva, what's going to happen? Hashem will warn the locusts not to destroy the vegetation. So here we have the language of kinui as a language of warning. Vayikane Hashem le'artzo. Okay, so we have those two opinions. According to one opinion, kina is a language of animosity, and you should not do it. You should not warn your wife because it just creates animosity, either animosity between the two of you or animosity between her and other people. You should just divorce her, right? The implication here being that divorce doesn't create animosity, right? In other words, just say, listen, you know what? Here's your ksuba, sei gesund, be well, right? You go your way, I'll go my way, and there's no.
Back then, you'd have to give them like part of your land, or part of your crop, or part of your.
200 zuzim.
200 zuzim.
Oh, that's it.
Distribution.
Don't say that's it.
That's a lot.
And you have to support her.
Oh, you have to support her, but you don't have to keep
No.
her in your house.
No.
You don't have to support her.
No, it's just a settlement.
When you divorce your wife according to your ksuba, you have to pay her 200 zuz. How much is 200 zuz?
In today's money with compounded interest?
Right, 200 zuz, I guess plus attorney's fees, I don't know. Right, 200 zuz. So what do we say in Chad Gadya? Dezabin Abba Bitre Zuze. Right?
So it's
Right.
100 goats.
So it's the value of 100 goats, right? It's the value of 100 goats. 200
Okay.
zuz is the value of 100 goats. Now you could say today that's pretty good. I'll give her the 100 goats, you know.
Give her
But,
200 goats.
right, I'll give her the 100 goats. But
And it was a lot.
yeah, plus we pretty much get married with standard amounts in the ksuba. Sfardim, on the other hand, negotiate these amounts. Right? They negotiate before the ksuba is signed. They negotiate these amounts. It's not a standard amount.
What am I confusing with support? Because I thought there's some.
No, while you're married, what
Right.
you're thinking about is a prenup. In other words, while you're married to your wife, you have certain obligations. You have to provide her with food. You have to provide her with clothing. You have to provide her with shelter. You have to provide her with
I'm
medical
thinking
care.
of now when you make a contract before marriage, you know, to promise a divorce,
Prenup.
the prenup that we do today, that until you do, you have to support her. So
Correct.
that's the punishment.
That's the whole foundation of a prenup today. In other words,
It's
remember,
more than that, though. They put in the, like, per diem monetary penalty.
yeah, they put in a monetary penalty, but the monetary penalty is based on this is the amount of support.
The agreement.
In other words, as long as I'm married to my wife, I have an obligation to provide her with these food, clothing, necessities, right? These basic necessities. Okay. Now that is, of course, assuming that she hands over her earnings
Yeah, however.
to me, right? In other words, whatever she earns, she gives to me, and I take care of all of her necessities. Okay? If she decides she doesn't want to do that, whereas she can say, you know what, I'm going to keep what I earn because I make more than you. I'm going to keep what I earn, and you don't have to take care of any of my necessities. She could do that. She could make that claim. But if she doesn't make that claim, then she is obligated to turn over what she earns to her husband. Her husband, of course, is obligated to provide for her with all of these.
Is that a one-time only choice? Can she change her mind?
She
every
can
if she
change her
loses
mind. Yes,
job?
she can change her mind, and assume that there would have to be a new ksuba written at the time. Okay. So how does a religious prenup work? A religious prenup works because, remember, I can't force someone to divorce his wife. A guy says, I don't want to divorce her. I can't, today we don't have any mechanism to force him to divorce her. I mean, in some areas of New York, they do
use
have,
baseball bats.
right? They use
Yeah.
baseball bats to convince him to divorce her. But that's illegal.
That's Rockland County.
Right, whatever it is, it's illegal. Legally, we don't have any recourse to force him to divorce her. What can we say? We can say, listen, okay, you're not going to divorce her. I can't force you to divorce her. But if you're not divorcing her, then understand that you are married to her. You are halachically married to her. And as long as you are halachically married to her, you have an obligation to take care of all of these necessities. And we're going to give all of these necessities a dollar value. We're going to call it $150 a day or whatever amount you want, $200 a day or $500 a day, whatever amount you want. That's what we're going to call it. And if we are no longer living together, and you are refusing to give me a get, I have a right to go into court and to get this money from you. That's basically what the prenup is. The idea behind it is that he will ultimately decide it's not
Cheaper to
worth,
get rid of her.
it's cheaper to get rid of her, right? It's not worth
Give her the
it.
divorce.
Right. In Israel, they put somebody in jail. Again, they can't force him to give the get, but they can put him in jail. Right? So they put him in jail.
They had a movie.
What?
They had a movie.
Yeah, they had that movie.
A couple of years ago.
I saw that movie.
What was the movie?
Yeah, there was a
She
movie.
went
on
before
that.
Beis Din, but she
divorce
never got her
thing.
divorce.
Well, she never got it. She
No.
decided she's just being a goon. Yeah. But she tried. I mean, she
Yeah,
went
no,
through
she-
every.
She went to Beis Din,
every
no kind.
single
If the
thing.
person's in Israel, Beis Din can put the person in jail, and they do put people in jail. Doesn't mean that people have to give the get; they can just stay in jail. But if they want to get out of jail, they have to give the
I
get.
think it's like a debtor's court.
Yeah, but
It's
if you're
like
in
debtor's
jail, you
prison.
can't support her, so the judgment for money against you is.
Well,
meaningless.
right. Unless there's property
Yeah,
or
well,
other assets. Okay. So the Gemara we're now heading towards a different area. The Gemara is going to discuss some of the wording of the various psukim that have to deal with this Isha Sotah. And you might want to flip back in your Gemara to page gray, right before the Gemara begins. Right before the Gemara begins, there is a page in gray, two gray boxes that have the passages. Earlier than that, keep going
Yeah,
back.
Parshat Sotah.
Before the Gemara begins, keep going back, Mitchell, one more.
It's right
Right,
before
no,
2A1.
keep going, right before 2A1. Keep going.
Going back.
Okay. This is where we have we're going to be referring to these psukim. Okay, we're going to be referring to these psukim. Okay? Right now we're going to be focusing on Pasuk Yud Daled, Pasuk 14. The Pasuk says, V'avar alav ruach kin'ah, and a spirit of jealousy had passed over him, V'kinei es ishto. And he warns his wife, V'hi nitma'a, and she subsequently commits adultery. Oh, avar alav ruach kina, or a spirit of jealousy had passed over him, v'kineas eshto, and he warned his wife, v'hi lo nitma'a, and she did not commit adultery. And we'll talk about why the Torah gives us both of these possibilities. Right now, the Torah is going to focus on this phrase, va'avar alav ruach kina, a spirit of jealousy had passed over him. What does that mean? It's a little bit weird that a spirit of jealousy passed over him. Almost seems like it came from the outside. In other words, it wasn't something that came from internally, it was something that happened to him. So says the Gemara, 1, 2, 3, 4 lines down on Gimel Amid Aleph, Tanya, we learn the following brisa. Haya Rebbe Meir Omer, Rebbe Meir says, Adam over Aveira B'Seser. What is this phrase of V'avar? How are we understanding it here? That a person, here we're referring to the woman or the man, Adam over Aveira B'Seser, person sins privately, meaning where is this couple going to be committing adultery? Not in the middle of Times Square on top of a grate and lose their engagement ring, right? Where are they going to be committing adultery? Someplace more private. Someplace more private, okay? So Adam over Aveira B'Seser, person commits a transgression privately and thinks, what does he think?
Got away with it.
I got away with it. I did it. Nobody saw me. Nobody saw us. We got away with it. And what happens in the end? Via Kadosh Baruch Hu machriz alav begilui. And a Kadosh Baruch Hu in the end does what? Brings this, makes a very public spectacle of this whole thing. Meaning, the word ve'avar alav is going to be interpreted as here causing something to be known.
Reveal.
Right? Reveal. The person thinks, oh, I got away with it, I did it privately, and in the end, it's going to be splashed all over the marquee at Times Square. It's going to be a big public disgrace. That is the phrase, V'avar alav. And Shenemar, as the Pasuk says, V'avar alav ruach kin'ah, V'ein aveira, and the word of aveira, right, to pass over, avor, means ella lashon hachraza. It means an announcement. So what happens here? So we have Rebbe Meir saying the whole reason the Torah uses the word v'avar alav is to say that this is ultimately going to be public. There's ultimately going to be an announcement about this. As the pasuk says, "Vayitzav Moshe vaya'aviru kol b'machaneh," that Moshe commanded, and a voice, an announcement went out throughout the camp. That this phrase "vaya'aviru" means the same root, ayin beis resh. That same root means to cause something to be announced, to be proclaimed. All right. So v'avar alav ruach kina. Rebbe Meir darshans it, and Rebbe Meir says, "Oh, this va'avar alav, it's strange. What does it mean, va'avar alav? It must come, it's coming to teach me that va'avar alav means what they did privately is ultimately going to become a public manner." That is what Rebbe Meir said. Reish Lakish Amar, Reish Lakish has another interpretation. What does Reish Lakish say? Reish Lakish interprets the pasuk in a little bit of a different way. Reish Lakish Amar, Ein Adam over Aveira Elo Imkein Nichnas Bo Ruach Shtus. That a person does not transgress unless he becomes temporarily insane. Right? Elo Imkein Nichnas Bo Ruach Shtus. What does that mean?
That's Chassidus.
Right? Now, what is it saying? It's saying that a person who is in full control of his logical faculties is not going to do the wrong thing. That if we do the wrong thing, we do the wrong thing because we lost sight of something. We do the wrong thing because, we're temporarily disabled, if you will.
That's Nipsey
Wasn't Reish Lakish a robber before he became a rabbi?
Reish Lakish, yes, he was.
Yes. So
What was he before?
he was a robber.
Yeah.
A robber, okay.
So basically, so you're saying that he was insane?
I'm saying, I look
No, that was
at what I did.
Wilson.
But
Oh, you're right.
I understand,
You're
but,
right.
You're right.
but he did it out of free will, not out of insanity, though.
Right.
Am I
No,
right, too?
well, he thought what he was doing was free will, but at the time it
Geraldine.
probably was not.
Okay.
So, Ella in kein Nirnas bo ruach shtus. Where do we get this from? Right, it's an interesting idea, right? It's definitely a Hasidic idea, right? It's an interesting idea. What do we base ourselves on that we say a person doesn't transgress in his right mind? That clearly, if a person transgressed, he wasn't in his right mind or she wasn't in her right mind. Where do we get that from? Shenemar, as the pasuk says, right? And again, this is the pasuk. If you flip back, it's the very first pasuk. No, not actually the very first pasuk. I'm sorry. Where is it?
Shenamar, I have it.
Yeah, and we have it there, but does it?
Yeah, the Bamidbar.
Right, 12. It's pasuk Yud Beis. Right, second pasuk Yud Beis. What does Yud Beis say? Daber el bnei Yisrael v'amarta lehem ish ki tiste. See that word ki tiste? Right, the fourth word on the page. Ish ki tiste. That word is written and pronounced with a sin. Tiste. But remember, there are no vowels in the Torah.
Right.
So if there are no vowels in the Torah, this word tiste can also be written as tishte. What does tishte mean?
Foolish.
Well, shtia means drink, but that's with a tough. This is with a tet, all right? Means foolish, shtus. But you heard the expression shtus, right? Don't say shtus, don't talk shtus. Shtus is nonsense. So what it means is ish ki tishte ishto. His wife acts in a foolish kind of way. In other words, she transgressed, but she only transgressed because nichnas abba ruach shtus. Okay, an interesting idea. Because the pasuk says ish ki tiste ishto, tishte ksiv. It's written as tishte.
Right.
Tishte. So this is very interesting. We'll just stop here for a minute. There's a very interesting machlokes among meforshim. The Talmud brings down the machlokes about how we interpret words in the Torah. Because, and this is a prime example of it, we have words in the Torah that are interpreted based on the way they are written, and words in the Torah which are interpreted based on the way they are read.
Yeah.
Okay? So how do we know how to read this word? We read this word as ish ki tiste. And if I were laning and I read ish ki tishte,
Correct.
they would correct me. Because our Mesorah is, even though there are no vowels in the Torah, our Mesorah is that this word is to be pronounced as tiste. Tiste or siste, right? Tiste. That's how this word is supposed to be pronounced. And if I read it incorrectly, the Gabayim will correct me on it. That position is called yesh aim lemesorah, which means what has priority? Our Mesorah, the tradition, the way in which the word is pronounced. How do we know how the words are pronounced? There's no vowels in any Torah. No Torah that you'll ever find has vowels in it. There's no vowels in any Torah. So how do I know how the words are to be pronounced? I know because I have a Mesorah. Yesh aim la Mesorah. And however the tradition of pronouncing the word is, that's how the word is to be interpreted. That's one school of thought. There is another school of thought that says yesh aim la mikra, that the primary emphasis should be on the mikra. The mikra is the way in which the word could be read. In other words, since this word tiste could also be read as tishte, the only difference would be which side of the shin you put the dot on, right? And there's no dots, there's no vowels in the Torah, so it could be read either way. We can use it to come up with our explanation here. That's the position of yesh aim la mikra, that we emphasize the way in which it's written, not necessarily the way in which it's pronounced.
But not for laying.
Not for laning, but for interpretation. For interpretation, yes. Okay. Tana debe Rebbe Yishmael. The Torah says we're now coming back. Remember our whole ve'ed ein ba, one witness, two witnesses, blah blah blah. You got it, right?
221.
Right? So 221 to
121.
121, whatever it was. The Gemara is now returning its attention to the fact that everybody agrees that one witness by adultery is sufficient. What does it mean, one witness by adultery? If I have, whether it's 221 or 121, everybody agrees that the last number is one. What is that last number? That last number represents someone who saw this couple engaged in sexual intimacy. Why do we believe one person here? Never in the Torah, right? When do we, right? We always require two witnesses. Why are we suddenly, when it comes to this intimacy, why are we suddenly relying on one witness? So that's what the pasuk asks. That's what the Gemara asks here. Mipnei ma he'emina Torah eid echad b'sotah. Right? Why is the Torah suddenly believing one witness when it comes to sexual intimacy between this woman and this man?
Sotah was seclusion. Or stira.
Stira, right? So the simple answer is because the Torah tells us.
Right.
Torah says v'eid ein ba, and we know that means that there was only one witness, right? But now the Gemara is asking, well, why does the Torah tell us that? It's a little bit unusual. The Gemara is asking, why does the Torah tell us that? What is it about sexual intimacy under these circumstances that causes us to make an exception to the rule of two witnesses and allow one witness to establish fact?
It's hard to get two witnesses.
Didn't we discuss this
So?
weeks ago, and we said because it was very unlikely that there would be more than one person?
Yeah.
who
No,
would-
but that doesn't mean you have to
Well,
accept
I mean,
it.
it's true. It is unlikely
It
that
is,
there would be
but
more
so?
than one witness. I mean, it's unlikely that there would be one witness. You would think that they would be more careful, right? It's unlikely that there would be one witness, but okay, it's unlikely there would be two witnesses. You're right. But as Ron said, we don't have to, if it's 221, so then we don't allow her to drink the mei sotah. Right? If there was one witness who saw them being intimate, we don't allow her to drink the mei sotah. She has to be divorced. She loses her ksuba. End of discussion. We don't kill her, but she has to be divorced and she loses her ksuba. Right?
Could it be the husband?
Based on that one witness.
Could it be the husband as the single witness in this situation?
He's not man, but Dunbar.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, all right.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Right.
Not sure.
He's not a neutral person.
No, that's not,
But he's not a neutral person in the kinui either, and we said he
Right,
might
and
be.
we might,
but
we
the
might not
Kino,
believe him, we might be more suspicious, but if we believe him,
Yeah.
Right. So the question is, why one witness? It's a good question about whether it could be the husband. I guess that would be a scenario where he comes home early from work, right?
Right, you found him.
Comes home early from work and hears noise upstairs and whatever.
Poor
All right.
man.
The pool man.
All
All right.
I don't have a pool.
Right? Mipnei ma he'emina Torah. Right? Why does the Torah believe one witness? Sheraglayim ledavar. The answer the Gemara gives is because this case
has legs in it.
has legs to it, meaning it's probable. Raglayim ledavar. There was a kinui. There had to be a reason why the husband gave her a kinui.
Right.
Right? He didn't just come up with a name out of a hat.
So the spread,
Right? There,
it has legs to it, started right
Right,
there.
right.
correct. That's correct. Right?
Seriously,
No question. That's
Should
true.
be hard scroll tomorrow.
No, it started in the Talmud, Raglayim ledavar, right? The matter has
The matter
legs,
has
right? It has
legs.
legs. In other words, there's probability here, right? There's probability here. Because he gave her a kinui that had two witnesses. And there was stira with two witnesses.
Maybe.
So in all likelihood, this happened. Therefore, the Gemara says, if there's one witness to it, we will allow this one witness to,
It's only the
to
last-
create
last
fact,
piece of the
right?
puzzle.
Sheraglayim ledavar shaharei kina la v'nistera, right? He gave her kinui, and she was secluded with this man. V'eid echad me'idah shehid tme'ah, and now one person comes along and says, "Yeah, I saw that they were intimate." So the Torah has told us we believe that one person, even though normally we don't believe one person. We do believe this one person here because
only
of the
only
because of the
consequence is they're
context.
divorced. She doesn't lose her right? She doesn't lose
No,
her.
if there's one witness that they were intimate, she loses her ksuba.
She loses, okay.
Yeah, she
Well,
loses her
the witness
ksuba.
just has to see them secluded for that amount
No,
of
No,
time.
that's
no.
stira.
No,
but for
the
amount
witness
of time-
actually has to see that stira is defined as being secluded with this man for an amount of
Right, the
time
time that
that
they can add.
could
Right.
lead to the beginnings of intimacy. But if all I have are two witnesses that they were secluded for that time, then I can't divorce her and not give her ksuba, because I don't know that she was intimate. I have
She
to
had an
now.
opportunity, but
Right,
I
she
don't
had-
know that she
right,
acted
You
on
need
it.
someone in the room.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
someone at the
So,
window or
so I
whatever,
got
yeah.
so I got someone in the room now who says, "Yep, they were intimate, all right." Right? Either that or he lost a dime somewhere, right? They were intimate, right? So I saw them being intimate. So since I saw them being intimate, he's believed because there are two witnesses to the kinui, two witnesses to the stira. He's believed, and she is divorced. She gets divorced and loses her ksuba. Okay. So you have that expression, raglayim ledavar sharei kino la v'nistera, and therefore ve'ed echad me'ido shehi tmeya. Amar le Rav Papa la Abaye. Rav Papa says to Abaye, something's out of order here. Let's flip back to our gray boxes.
But if there were two witnesses to the act, then she'd have to be executed.
And so would he, right? They'd both be executed. Correct. Assuming there
The
was
adulterer.
warning. Assuming there was
Assuming there was a
warning.
warning,
That's right, the
right.
adulterer. Assuming there was warning also. Correct.
Right.
Okay, so now if we look back at the psukim, something seems very much out of order. Because what does it say? Daber b'nei Yisrael b'marta alehem, ish ki tiste ishto. His wife goes astray, uma'ala vo ma'al, and commits treachery against him. V'shachav ish osa shichvas zera, and another man lies with her carnally. I love that. V'ne'elam me'enei isha, and the act of intimacy is hidden from the eyes of her husband.
Which would imply that he can't be the witness.
Well, or that he's not, or, well,
couldn't be.
interesting.
Otherwise, it's
All
not
right,
hidden from his eyes.
Vinistera, right, that's interesting. Vinistera, and she is hidden. Vihi nitma'a, and she commits adultery. V'eid ein ba, and there are no witnesses, meaning that there's one witness, but there's not two witnesses. Vihi lo nispasa, and what? And she was not forced into this relationship. So that's the act that occurs, correct? This is the act that occurs. And now what does the Torah tell us? V'avar alav ruach kina. And now he gets jealous. V'kineis ishto, and he warns his wife. V'hi nitma'a, and she subsequently becomes intimate with a man. Al avar alav ruach kina v'kineis ishto v'hi lo nitma'a. In other words, the Torah, in giving us these psukim, puts the warning after the act.
Right.
Right,
It
first,
almost
first,
sounds like she does it, and then he
yeah, it
warns
almost
her,
sounds
and then
like she does it.
again.
Right, she does it, and then he becomes jealous and warns her. Wait a second. We based our whole reasoning why one witness is sufficient on
Because
the
it
fact
was the last.
that warning
Like lying.
and seclusion preceded
Right.
intimacy. And now the Torah is telling us, wait a second, maybe it didn't happen that way, right? Maybe, but on the order of the psukim, first she was intimate, and then v'avar alav ruach kina. So how does the Gemara now understand the strange order that the psukim have here? Okay, you know what? We'll stop here because we'll pick up at this spot next week. Ron, thank you very much for hosting. I think next week we're back at Jeff, right?
I think.
Next week we're back at Jeff. I'll send